Have you ever felt like when is the trauma you feel gonna end? You know, I always tell people it's gonna end with the amount of work that you do on yourself, like the serious work. You know what I mean? Like the actual times that you take to isolate yourself from things and people so that you can refocus and recalibrate so that you can rebuild yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard to really say like if a lot of people are aware of this, but the more content I make, the more that I realize when people comment and tell me their story, it's not a lot of people willing to be vulnerable and or be open about the trauma they've been through. When you can be open about it, you can definitely heal from it because you're not running from it. Most people run from their trauma because they're not talking about it. They think that it's frowned upon or shamed upon. But this is the kind of stuff that builds the mental resilience you need in order to be a better version of you as you get older. That's why I always say when you go through narcissistic abuse, it's a superpower. This level of awareness, I just really want to stress to you, this level of awareness that you gain after this is not normal. It's not a bad thing, but it's not normal. I just want you to understand it because you gain a sense of time. Your time becomes very valuable and very important based off the amount of time you put into something that you knew wasn't going to be, or not that you knew it was going to be, but just ended up being a failure anyway, being in a narcissistic relationship. And you don't even have control of that no way. Especially with a narcissist, it's finicky to begin with. It's okay if you're still in it and still feeling that way. It's okay that you still deal with the daily thoughts, the nightmares, if you rather. It's okay. It's fine. You have to make sure you're holding yourself accountable to do the daily and day in out work, journaling, getting your thoughts down, starting that thing that you've been wanting to start, going to go see those people that make you feel fulfilled. It's all a process and it's all repetition, like I always say in every single video. And your trauma, this moment in life that you've taken what you've taken, you've got to really understand this and take this with you. It changes you because you start to build mental callus. You start to mental fortitude. You know what I mean? You have that mental strength that you can deal with other things. This is a you battle, a you journey. Most people, and I say this a lot because I know the community online may seem like really big with the whole, the community of narcissistic abuse, but like reality is really still small. So when you talk about this kind of stuff, people have no idea what you're saying, and or they don't know how to see it. They don't know how to view it when they see it, and they're victims themselves and or narcissists. Like it's just wow. I'm not saying like it's a selective few of us, but there's people who've been through this who know what you feel like, who's been there. Be honest with yourself going through this. I know it can seem embarrassing when you're honest to yourself when it comes to what you've accepted. I got it. Trust me, I got it. But believing that you can be different and be better after that situation is the first step. And it's like low key the key to all of it for you to keep going because you have to believe in yourself every single day that this can be over with in your mind. You don't want to continue living these kind of thoughts as if they're like reality. I know, trust me, I'm gonna say this. I know what it's like to sit and think that much and over and over and over and over, and you think it so much that it's reality and it's over with. It's over with. But you stuck here, that loop, trying to figure out answers that you will never get from the narcissist. They're never going to give you those answers, but you'll be stuck in that loop. But you have to visualize yourself in a better place. You have to visualize yourself in the area of life where this is not a combative thing in your mind anymore. You can arrive there for sure, or just start working today. I promise you, like as I was building myself back up piece by piece, coming from just stuff. I don't want to go too far off and all this, the stuff I've been through, but coming back from all that, man, I had to realize like you got to really stop looking for validation. Especially from people that have, you know, who you may deem, all these my peoples, but they give you backhanded compliments a lot. Stuff like that. People who downplay your skill set, your talent, your shine, if you rather. You know what I mean? Those are. I'm not saying all the time those are narcissistic people, but it can be deemed as such. And you got to get away from this stuff, man. You have to reprogram your mind with a different environment, with different paradigms, with different habits of doing things. That's why I always say in every video, fitness gave me the idea that if I do this every single day, what if I thought differently every single day in order to break free from this curse I gave myself? You know, like at some point in this journey of recovery, you got to accept the fact that it was a lot of it is self inflicted because you could have been left. You could have been left, bro, sis. Me too. You could have been left, and because you didn't, because you decided to see if you can change them, that this scar has gotten deeper. Now you have to work. Don't just let the scar sit with no bandage, man. You got to put a bandage on it. You got to clean it, all kind of stuff, so that they can heal correctly. You can't just go willy nilly about this. It's gonna always bust and bleed. You feel what I'm saying? You're gonna always hit that same wall and that same trigger about whatever the case may have that somebody did to you, and you're gonna hold that same thought to somebody else. You holding standards to somebody else from a ghost that's not even here anymore. Trust, been there. You know what I mean? That next person that's for you did not do what the last person did. And you got to accept that, and you got to also give people a chance as you build yourself up from the situation. Don't let the narcissist give you trust issues is what I'm really trying to say. If the narcissist can give you trust issues, then they won. I'm just gonna say that straight up. If you become untrustworthy after them, then they won. And I know you don't want to live like that. The win is being able to accept and move on in peace and be happy with other people after that. The trauma you get from dealing with them is really a blessing, to be honest with you, because Lord knows if you didn't have this awareness at this point about what had happened to you and what you had been through, then how would you find these kind of videos, my kind of video, to even find some kind of answer about what you're going through? That's the first step. That means you want to improve. If you're finding content like this to find answers to understand what you've been through and stuff like that, I promise you that is step one of improvement, because you're trying to figure it out. This video is to help you figure it out, or whatever other content, creators that make content like this is to help you figure it out. You wouldn't have watched it if you didn't. You see what I'm saying? And when you do that, you don't need the narcissist to validate that. Oh, I see you improving. Oh, I see what you do. You don't need that. I promise you don't need it. Like no contact. You don't need to be talking to them anymore. There's nothing else to talk about. You don't need it. There's no form of communication that y'all need in any more shape or fashion. If y'all not have kids, and you got a Grey Rock, the individual, then you don't need to no contact. Y'all don't need to be friends. Give their stuff back. It's okay. You're not gonna it's okay. You have to separate yourself. This is these pieces that I give in every video about recovery and stuff that I've done, that has worked, you know, that I've coached people with. And if you are looking for these kind of services, that link is in my description. But these is stuff you have to do every single day in order to become the version that you see yourself, that vision that you have. It's going to feel weird at first, because when you start to do again, and this is outside of narcissism or recovery, but when you start to improve self, like, it's going to get weird around you, because you're going to notice everybody's not really on this like discovery journey of real personal growth, not just saying it to pretend it and just pixie sticks and Peter Pan. I'm talking about really real personal growth, finding self. Like, don't fake it, because the trauma's not gonna fake it inside you. You're gonna always feel that trauma. And so if you faking this personal growth journey, you're gonna always feel that trauma. If you want to walk around with that, then by all means. But listen to me. Your self growth journey starts today. You don't have to feel this way forever. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit with other people who feel that way, because misery loves company. You don't have to do these things. You have so many choices that you can, sometimes unconsciously give up the option to somebody else to decide for you. You don't even know that. Trust me, I've been there. You can forget for real about how autonomous that you need to be, that you don't even take control of, because you've let other people take control of it so long, i.e. other narcissists. Narcissists love telling you what the direction is, what the vision is. Now, I'm not saying like, don't follow people that can actually help you and stuff like that. But you know about the people that I mean that use that stuff to manipulate you into doing things that's not you, and or you becoming somebody that you're not. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, just to go ahead and separate that now. But it's crazy, because when I started to really discover, if I just focus on the small, simple steps day by day, I can eventually stop thinking about this situation. Then also, as I improve, as the years go over, anytime that I may have, when people ask me questions about it and I may bring it up or whatever the case may have you, I just sit here and be like, dude, I don't think about that stuff. I'm focused on this. This is the focus. I look back to see how far I've walked from that situation. Again, you got to walk to it, understand it, and build away from it. I never ran from a situation, and I did it kind of by accident, because I just knew I needed to find something. And when I found what it was, fitness, I just started to work on my body, it worked on my mind. My mind transformed. I started to like become very aware of certain things. I was like, wow, it's a lot of energy, this way, that way, good or bad, whatever the case may have you. But that was just my experience coming up until the point now where I'm at mentally. So when I think about my narcissistic abuse recovery journey, my biggest focus was having something to work on, a project, things to do, things to make, be creative. You know, you're only beaten by the narcissist as if you give up. That's really what I really want to say, for real, for real. The narcissist really only beats you if you give up. If you give up on you, if they see you down bad. It's not to really, again, it's not to showcase that you want to do better than them and you want them to see that. It's to showcase that you can move on from that. Your no contact season starts today. Your self discovery, your personal growth season starts today. You can get through the trauma, you can work through it. It's not really hard to start. It's just hard to stay consistent. But you've got to battle those thoughts. You have to battle those thoughts head on. I got it. I know it was traumatic. I know you didn't like going through it. It happened this way. This is hard to even come back. I trust me, I got it. But you have to, in order to see your best version, you have to. And you can. Straight up. It's not going to be difficult as you do it, because the hard becomes easy over time. This process of building yourself back up is also going to help you be able to get into another healthy relationship. I'm sorry, find a healthy relationship. You do want to make sure that you're a complete person for somebody else. That's why I say this work that you need to do, don't avoid it. Don't avoid it anymore. Start it, do it. What the narcissist has said about you, and what they've got other people around them to say about you, that stuff is not your future. That stuff don't control your life. They don't know what they're talking about, because you are who you are, and you've been who you've been. For this entire time, you've been this way. You've been how you are. What they say you are that you're not is not your truth. You've got to get that out your head. Don't let them give you your identity. You create your own identity and you go your way. It's okay to separate yourself from people. You don't have to always feel validated to people. I know it can bring that kind of anxiety because there's no like definite like source of lean back on or whatever the case may have you, but you gotta learn how to stand on your own too. Internally. You know what I mean? Don't distract yourself from yourself any longer than what you have to. Your brain is going to keep that scar for as long as it goes unchecked, untaken care of. Straight up, it's very hard to have to go back to things and fix things if you haven't just already done it now, so it won't affect you going forward in the future. Your future self is looking at you saying, "Hey, just make these kind of choices. If you go no contact and you work on yourself, we can get here." That's your future self, your vision. You are a visionary because if you wasn't a visionary, you wouldn't be checking out this kind of content to see how you can become better from this, see how you can heal from this. So you've already gained the vision of how you want to be. Now it's just at the point of getting up and just doing it. It's possible to become peace of mind again, to find peace of mind in things and people. There are things that can give you ROI, give you energy back. You don't have to give up on things and people because of this situation with this. You don't have to give up on that stuff. If whatever it was, and I'm speaking very vaguely about whatever your hobbies and whatever the case may have you with people, but like you don't have to give these things up because these things brought you joy and passion. Continue that for you. You know what I mean? Don't let your reminiscing of this moment with such and such ruin you from a better version of you in the future. You is looking at you, checking you out like, come on, let's get it. Let's turn up. Keep working. That's your validation. You validate yourself. You tell yourself that you can keep working, you can keep doing this. It's a you battle every single day. You've relied, you can become very codependent with the narcissist really, really quick. But at this point, when they devastate that world around you, that safety net you thought you had, you have to rely on self. And even most people around you don't even know what you've been through. So when you talk, they don't hear you. So you have to rely on self. You have to find self. You know what I mean? You don't want to distract yourself from this. The journey from recovering from your trauma is so possible. It's so possible. I look back on everything, all the steps that I've made up until this point in order to really work on my mind and really get to a place to where I can have clarity and not have that brain fog of going through the triangulation, the devaluation, the discord, going through all that, having to relive that. Like if I like, nah, man, I'm too valuable. And I would want you to also believe and tell yourself that you are too valuable to ever go back to such a thing. You feel me? Don't worry about the downfall of them. Don't worry about their karma. Don't worry about none of that. It's not your concern anymore. Rotten fruit will fall by itself. If you ever heard that quote. But don't worry about any of that. Your revenge is becoming happy without them. Your revenge is becoming happy for you. That's the biggest piece from all of this, and keeping that vision that you can really see yourself not being the person that they told you who you are. You don't have to stay like that. The way they said do this, the way they said do that, you should wear this. Man, ride out. You be the best you because you can. You know what I mean? Because that's all you know how to do. Let them go off into their circus. Let them go off into their circus, the new supply, and then let them ride out. You gotta take care of your mind and really sit down and just get in peace mode and get in grind mode and get in focus mode and really do the work and don't avoid it. This is your superpower. Going through this is your superpower. That's that heightened awareness of life, self-worth, and what it really takes to really think positive. You know what I mean? All this is a choice. All this is a choice. Choose that your future self is watching you, looking at you like, hey, we can get here. It's just day in and day out. You feel me? Straight up. So I hope this message finds you well. Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.